I'm not gonna lie, he's the best volleyball player. He's the best volleyball player out there.
I texted Sweet like that I had been doing mountain biking and volleyball and rowing one day, and she said, "Teach me your ways." I said, "You could join mountain biking." She said,
No.
I'm not gonna lie.
The smell, right?
I love the smell of
Please don't get high.
Yeah, I don't think
That's so weird. That's so.
You just hit his balls?
Dude, I thought I was gonna hit you in the hand, like,
And you did it a second time.
Because physics, so it's just gonna do that.
I know, I didn't
It's gonna stay
think
level.
about it.
It's gonna stay level to where.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, Nina.
I didn't think about it.
It's gonna stay level to where it was thrown.
I know, I'm sorry.
I guess that was balls. Of, oh.
Okay, Oliver, okay.
Nina, what do you got some facts? Oh, we're gonna wink. Yeah, I just farted. Wink. AKA farted means food. Wink.
I'm gonna say mine.
Food? Wink.
From Colombia.
You guys not what he just said?
Who's his daughter?
What?
No, she was trying to catch her.
Okay,
You were room 175 over there.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. Go. Show
But I'm gonna try to catch her right now.
All right, cool. Zamaya, come here. Real quick, takes 2 seconds. Section 1. All right, listen up, everybody. Again, if I haven't gotten to most of you, I'm trying to do both, but I will try to do it maybe at the end here. What I want, though, is to
Hello.
let's talk about Castro. I know it's kind of a weird pivot, but we're kind of now we're literally rounding home here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Cuban Revolution. I'm going to put that into a little nutshell. That will be part of, again, our test will be on the 29th, and the first part will be exactly what we did with, one of the tests, I forgot which one it will be. As we get closer, I'll be out of it. Will be that consolidating, gaining, and maintaining power. So this is how Castro gains power. And I've told this to my B people. It is one of the most remarkable things that you have ever happened. And it's relatively easy because it was such a simple plan that learning about the Cuban Revolution is not as complicated, let's say, learning about the Russian Revolution, or even our own revolution, which is complicated. The Cuban Revolution was pretty simple. It just,
Yes.
yeah, it's just almost too simple for you to actually.
Yes.
And his compadres, the Barbudos, were able to take over the largest island in the Caribbean, and a power that was backed by the United States government. It's quite a remarkable story, and it's pretty good. So I'm going to go into that into depth a little bit. At the end of it, there is a Who is Fidel Castro's children's book that I read to my kids. I think it's called Who Was, right? I think they actually made a TV show out of it too. All right. Noise.
Hello. Yo, what's up, everyone? Hit that like and subscribe button.
So it's going to be really quick. I will try and make it as interesting as possible. I think it is. And then that's it. So if you can get on and get logged in here and try to get focused in, and I will get focused on you. It is Castro Rise to Power. And like I said, it's only a couple
Please
slides,
turn
but
the
again,
camera.
it's going to be a little
What do you
heavy
mean?
for you guys. And then this will be kind of the wrap-up program when you guys
What do you mean
get
by
there.
that?
So, spoiler
Wait,
alerts.
what?
If you need a paper copy, I have that as
What up?
well. If not, you do it on computer. All right, so the story begins
Hold
with
up, y'all.
Fidel. Fidel was born, he is Cuban. He was born to a wealthy family. Usually these guys will come from money. He was
Yo, what's up?
extremely well educated. He went to Havana University, he studied law, he became a lawyer in 1945, a really pivotal time in global affairs. The war just ended, World War II just
Yo, what's up, baby?
the Cold War will just begin. So, and he was a fine athlete. Not as good as some people say he was, but he was good and good enough.
Yo,
And don't
hello,
take my
hello,
word for it. Take the Family Guy.
Hello, everyone. What? Yo, what's up, everyone? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Oh, you still right now? Yes, I'm in class.
Fidel was a big
Yo, what's up? I
player,
like your hair.
and
Thank
he
you.
would play a lot. He would be
Mess with I know. What?
was young. He got politically motivated by this guy named
Yo, hello?
Eddie Chivas.
Maybe?
Eddie Chivas was this young, radical guy who was a media personality. He was on the radio. And he would constantly point out how corrupt the current government was. Currently, when Eddie Chivas was running for president, was a guy named Ramon Grau. And Ramon Grau was just a puppet for this guy Batista, right? They were all kind of interchangeable kind of people. You didn't get your computer when you went to lunch? Go. All right. So he would rail against the president. He would rail against Batista, and Fidel looked up to him. He was kind of like his mentor in a way. And he was like, yeah, this guy Chivas is speaking the truth to power, right? Yeah, he knows how to handle a microphone. He knows how to handle, he knows how to point out. He seems fearless. Fidel was like, this is the kind of guy we need in Cuba, right? And he became a part of it. These guys run for president, and there are some stolen ballots, some stolen elections, and wouldn't you forget it, Raymond Grau wins the election while Chivas and everybody else loses. And everybody says that was an absolute disaster, so much so and stuff like that, right? So Chivas becomes even more vocal on his radio show. And he's screaming about how Cuba needs change, the corruption needs to end, the dependency on the United States needs to end, right? And we need to create our own identity. One day, and again, he had a big following, hundreds, maybe millions of listeners every night. I think it was every Sunday night. Would listen to him kind of like espouse and kind of bring out the corruption. So one night in the early 1950s, Chivas is on the radio, speaking, and then, boom, gunshot. And supposedly, he commits suicide on the radio in front of everybody. Now, nobody believes that, right? They just say, I think you can actually listen to it on radio. They actually say, some government guy said, oh, Yeshiva just killed himself, and the radio show's over, right? But everybody believes he was shot. But anyway, this makes Fidel even more involved politically, knowing that you got to start fighting fire with fire, right? And then he starts to become this radicalized opponent to the Batista regime, the corrupt Batista regime.
Messi is better.
Get to that in a second.
Ronaldo is better.
So this again is Batista. The first thing he does is get rid of Ramon Garroa, and he seizes power in a coup. Literally, he says, you know what, no elections, none of this. He gets the military to enforce and makes him a dictator. He's not a president in the sense, he wasn't elected, but he regains power and he becomes a dictator. Nobody voted him in, he just takes it as a general. Well, he wasn't even a general, but anyway, he calls himself a general. He takes power over with the military, and he says, I'm in charge now. Nobody's going to say it. So he's also backed by the United States government. He keeps the sugar going. He keeps the casinos going.
Ronaldo is the GOAT, bro. He can't beat Ronaldo.
And he's a perfect pawn for the government. In fact, here is the day Batista takes over.
Sweet.
So he
Yes.
seizes power, and so again, the money is rolling up to him and his cronies. One symbol of
Yes,
power,
I
and
am.
this
I'm
is
in
in the
class.
Museum of the Revolution, is his golden telephone that he got from the New York Mafia, right? He would have soldiers just kind of grab people off the street and have hushed up charges and stuff like that, and firing squads, and people would disappear, and he lived a lavish lifestyle, right? Corrupt, taking money on the take, and all that, right? And they were exploited for American interest and for corrupt Cuban politicians. And no better is this scene played out than in the fantastic movie Godfather 2, right? Played by Al Pacino. Al Pacino was the new Michael Corleone, becomes the Godfather, and they had business in Havana, according to the movie. And in this scene that I'm going to show you, Michael Corleone
Sasuke or
goes
Naruto?
to Havana to check on the
Naruto
heat when he's rolling.
Goku.
And as he's going through the streets of Havana, he starts to see that things are being a little different. All right? This is, again, you might not have seen the movie The Godfather. They're long, a little bit maybe not at your taste, but they are considered to be the best movies ever. And so here is a quick
Naruto.
you're gonna see. So the first thing Castro
What?
does is make a botched attack on the Mikado military barracks on, can anybody take a guess? Yes. July the 26th.
Hello.
It was an absolute, what I call shit show of an operation, right? And they were lucky for them to get out of there alive. It was an embarrassment. It didn't work. And in fact, he was found guilty, and then he was later kicked out of the country. Now, for most people, this setback would be a source of embarrassment, but not Castro. Castro uses it as a rallying cry. He and his followers will be
Demon
known
Slayer.
as the July 26th movement. He uses his biggest failure as a sign of actually a beginning. And he will now use this July 26th
Demon Slayer.
movement
Demon Slayer.
as the beginning of his revolution. And everybody who will now follow him will be part of the
Everyone,
July
please hit that like
26th
button.
movement.
Everyone,
Not
hit the like
communist,
button.
not socialist, we're not there yet. But it will be now the alternative movement. Quite smart. And you'll see the red and black and everything like that. It will always be known as the 26th
Demon Slayer.
until
Demon
they
Slayer.
become communists in the 60s. He also understands that you need guerrilla warfare.
Everyone,
not
please hit that
guerrilla
like and subscribe button.
Gorilla, right? It's a French word for an alternate way of fighting, a communist way of fighting. Hit and run tactic, sniper, blowing up trains and transportation, right? That's going to work, not a full-on attack. After the Mikado attack, he also realizes he needs a BFF, and he gets it. He gets it with his
Dragon Ball and
Shay
One
Brown.
Piece is the goat.
Shay
No.
becomes
No.
an absolute
One
vital,
Piece is the
important
goat.
person to Castro. He becomes his right-hand man. Anywhere you see Shay, you see Castro. Anything where Castro, you see Shay. They wear the guerrilla fatigues. They have the cigar, the long hair. They look revolutionary. They look cool. They are cool. They ain't Batista wearing his three-piece Italian suits, eating off a golden tray, right? No, they are long hair, beards, right? They're smart, daring, right? Shay's a doctor. He's a lawyer, right? They're putting their lives on the line. They are setting the example, right? And they're photogenic. They're smiling sometimes. They're laughing or they're serious. They are men of the people, right? Shay, before he joined up with Castro, traveled traveled North and South America on a motorcycle. It's called the Motorcycle Diaries, right? And he wrote a story. He stopped in different places in Cuba, in America, in Mexico, Argentina, and stuff like that, and helped people, and then went on and on and on. At the end of it, he realized that he wanted to become a revolutionary. But if you read the book, which I have, and it's really good, he has a dream. And now they came out with a movie. There's two movies about Shay. One's called Shay, and that's about 4.5 hours long.
No.
Go ahead. Or there's the Motorcycle Diaries, which are really good too. So give me a second here.
Do you play Roblox? Yes, I do.
America.
Guys, I can't talk right
Believed in a united America, united
Okay, I'm
everybody,
back.
right? So in Mexico, him and Shay have a revelation.
Guys,
They're
I'm
like,
back.
"Look,
I'm back.
we started reading these two guys. Don't remember these guys? Oh, we're tying it back together, Mr. Zuma, right? Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin, right? So he's starting to read on these guys, and he's starting to realize that the problem with Cuba and with Shay's like, nah, it's not just the problem of Cuba. It is everybody in North and South America. It is the result of capitalism, right? And they start to change their point of view, in which they come up with another slogan, socialismo o muerte, socialism or death. All right? So they start to say, you know what? This is going to be a bigger issue than just Cuba, Argentina, right? We need to come around with a revolution. There's no more playing games with Batista or even the United States. We need to have a full-blown
I'm not rich.
military
I'm not
revolution,
rich.
starting with Cuba and then spreading throughout North and South America, okay? Which the Russians will absolutely love to hear, but we'll get to them next week, right? So they absolutely see that this is the future for Cuba, and not only that, right? Socialism of muerte. So how are you going to do that? He's not even in Cuba. And what you have now is the most audacious plan that has ever happened in probably in the last in the 20th century. I'll wait for you guys.
Guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button.